Hey, what's good, people? This is Holy Warrior Yancey, and this is Holy Warrior Yancey Productions. Just wanted to do a video on, or rather, just give people help that are in the dilemma of being in a relationship in which they were cheated on. Me personally, I was devastated when I was married and found out that my wife cheated on me. And my dilemma was really quite, what's the word? Strenuous. It was just hectic. Devastating. The truth ain't come out instantly. It came out over time. But anyway, here's my advice. And before I get into that, let me first share this. I remember when I was going through, when I found out that my wife cheated on me, and this was a while back, talking about 12 years ago. When I was seeking help online, YouTube, there weren't really a lot of videos from men who got cheated on by their wives. A lot of the videos that I would come across and the content I would come across usually was a woman that was hurt by her husband. But anyway, just thought I had to share that. But, I'm not discriminating, when it comes to adultery. It hurts. It hurts men, it hurts women, it hurts the children, it hurts the in-laws. It hurts, period. But this is a video that hopefully people who are experiencing this betrayal can get some form of comfort. Thinking of the scriptures, the God of all comfort, who comfort us in our times of need so we can comfort those, that are go through the same thing, But the first thing I would tell those who were betrayed by their spouse or significant other is God is good regardless. I know that you're feeling devastated, that you're hurt. Some of you may not understand why it happened, but I just want you to know that in the midst of all your pain, God loves you. And He still has a plan for your life. And it's going to take some time to get over the pain and the bad feelings and the anger and the hurt. But know that in time, your wounds will heal. You may be headed to a life change. Like me, man. Like, I done been there, separated and divorced. Kids going back and forth. And then she moved out the city. And then a couple years later, I moved out the state. You know what I mean? So, things may change. And you may be devastated that things are going to change because of what happened, but know that God is still good. And through every change in my life, God has been there. God has really comforted me. And, you know, when I was with my ex, I loved that woman with all my heart. You know what I mean? I was really hurt after I found out what happened. But, you know, God got me over her. And, you know, I found somebody that's great. And something that I'm being honest about. From the love that I sown in my ex, there was no way I should have reaped what I reaped from her. But I swear, all the love and kindness that I sown in her, I reaped it with my fiance that I have today, and I'm so happy and I'm so blessed. And this is coming from a man that was brokenhearted and devastated, so I just want to give you encouragement not to give up. Because as life goes on, you know, you'll get the pieces together. God will bless you and you'll be all right. It may take some time, but let God do a work in you, you know. Another piece of advice is you have to be honest with yourself. You really have to be honest with yourself. You have to consider the cost. You know, you got to consider whether or not you can deal with what happened. And this is a very real thing. You know, if a spouse cheats on you, you have to really, really examine yourself to see if you're going to fight through it or if it's too much for you. And if it's too much for you, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for reconciliation and all that. But sometimes, man, it can't be reconciled. Sometimes the damage is too much. Sometimes people's hearts are just too gone. And this is what I mean by examining it. If your spouse cheated on you, you have to face the fact that they gave their body to somebody else that isn't you. And most of the time, they're not going to go into details, you know, about what was done, but you have to keep it real with yourself. If your spouse, you know, was having oral sex with you, most likely they were having oral sex with the person they cheated on you with. And to some people, that's something that they can't accept. Some people that cheat end up, you know what I mean, making a baby from the affair. You have to decide if you're in that situation, is this something that you can accept or not? You got to consider also, you know, they may have had better sex with the lover than you. You know, you got to also consider the risk, the health risks that your spouse put you in. You know, you don't know the person that they slept with. You know, you don't know that person most likely, and you don't know their sexual history. And for a spouse to two-time you going back and forth between y'all, you know, I mean, that's something that you really need to consider. You know, are you able to move on from that, or is that too much for you? Another piece of advice, I think that healthy distancing is a good thing. It's a good thing for a couple reasons. For one, it will straight up demonstrate to the spouse that betrayed that you're not going to tolerate being disrespected like that. And not just that, but it prevent a lot of fights. It will prevent a whole lot of tension because going home to a spouse that cheated on you, needless to say, there's tension in that house. Like there's big tension in that house. I mean, I remember things that would trigger me off. I remember when I was with my ex, picking her up from work. Mind you, the affair that she had happened on her job. And I didn't know who the dude was at a certain point, in the earlier stages when I first found out what happened, you know. So it was killing me. I'm like, who is this dude? Who is this dude? I want to see this dude. I want to give this dude a piece of my mind. You know what I mean? Like, I would just stare at random dudes. Like, is this the guy? You know what I mean? Like, I had some issues, man. Not just that, man. Going back to the car, picking her up from work, she would have a habit of laying on me as I drove, holding my hands as I drove. And the only thing I could think of was, was you doing this when you was in the other dude's car? Was you on him? Was you holding his hand? Was you laying your head on his shoulder as he drove? You know what I mean? So, man, that healthy distancing, is needed because it can prevent a whole lot of drama from the tension. What else I was going to say? Not just that, but also healthy distancing give you the space you need to sort things out, like whether the affair was too much for you to handle, space that you may need to cry, space you may need to vent, negatively, you know what I mean? It also gives the betrayer space too to realize what they done, because that really needs to be considered. But also another piece of advice. First, let me just say this. Never fight for the honor of somebody that is dishonorable. And what I mean by that is this. Your spouse sleeping with somebody else besides their wife or their husband. That was a totally foul act. If they weren't raped, this is something that they've been entertaining and went along and did it. This is something that they knew deep in their heart was wrong, going on lunch breaks or entertaining thoughts of going out with somebody else. You know what I mean? They did something dishonorable. So don't make yourself out to be a fool trying to fight the person or get at the person that they cheated on you with. Honestly, you don't even need to worry about the person they cheated on you with. If that person wasn't somebody that like a family member or a close friend, if who your spouse cheated on isn't a close friend of yours or a family member of yours, you don't need to approach that person. Let God deal with them. Their only sin towards you is not having a moral compass, having a lack of morals. Your issue is with your spouse. They're the one that dipped out on you. They're the one that chose to get into an affair. That's your problem. That's who you deal with. Don't be worried trying to find out who they slept with. Nah, that's a misdirection of anger. So never approach the person that your spouse cheated on you with, unless you know unless you know the person personally. You know what I mean? Um, if you have kids, pray, pray. Try your best not to argue in front of them. Try your best to assure them that regardless of what happens with the relationship or marriage or whatever, that mom and dad loves you. You know what I mean? Um, just, you know what I mean? Put the spouse thing on hold. Just focus on being a parent. You know. Also, you're gonna have to live life. I mean, what you've been through is quite devastating. However, you got to take your time out to mourn, to cry. Take that time, get it all out. You know, but after that, man, you gotta be free. You gotta go to work and be happy. You know what I mean? You gotta go out. Go to the movies, laugh. Get a comedy. Go to a comedy. Laugh. Hang out with your friends. You gotta live life. Take that time to get all that mess out your system. But man, you can't wallow in depression. You can't wallow in the hurt because life's too short. I'm telling you, man, I wasted so much time wallowing in the hurt over somebody that didn't love me at all. I'm talking about, man, I wasted a good couple years wallowing. Don't do that. You've been hurt, cry. Get it all out your system. But then you gotta dust yourself off, pick yourself up, dust yourself off. You know what I mean? Get back at the race. Live life. Above all else, pray for wisdom. Pray for protection. Pray that God's will be done in both your heart and the heart of your spouse or significant other that cheated on you. Also, you're going to have to forgive. Now, forgiveness and restoration are two different things. You can forgive, but just because you forgive don't mean that you restore that person back to being your spouse like that. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort on their part to show you that they want to get things right. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, you gotta keep on living. Don't give up. Man, I know the hurt. Shoot, I know the hurt. I know the disrespect. Think about some of the things that I've been through. And when I was going through, and there was multiple affairs that my ex had. And when them things came to the light, and it was embarrassing that people at my church knew what she did to me, that people on my job knew that she did to me. And really all because of some spiteful stuff, by her mother telling somebody that was going to run their mouth to everybody, And it's sad, man. It really hurt my family breaking out. Really hurted my oldest son. Cause he remember mom and dad just being together every day and doing the family thing. It hurt him the most. My youngest two, they were young when things were finally dissolving. You know, but my oldest, my middle child is seeing things now, man. And apparently, my ex family, they knew about her affairs and maybe even was helping her. You know what I mean? And my son overheard some stuff that hurt him. But man, I tell you, Satan's really after the institution of marriage and the institution of families. I'm telling you, man. What other advice can I give? You're going to have to pray. You're going to have to exercise, man. Like go on a prayer walk, work out. You're going to have to get into a hobby. But don't let the hurt and pain that you've been through be in vain. You know what I mean? Heal. Take the time to heal. Find some literature. Hear the testimonies of other people that been through what you've been through and see how God got them out. One of the things that really helped me when I was going through was the real life examples that God put in my life. And they gave me hope. One person in my life, they actually divorced their spouse. And years later, God healed and restored that marriage. I also had another partner that was so much in love with this girl, and she betrayed him. And he was hurt, But years later, God blessed him with a beautiful wife. And he has more children, and his family is blessed, There was a few other stories from people that I knew that gave me hope. So just know there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel, There really is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. Another thing that needs to be done in this time is be honest with yourself and truly evaluate yourself. And don't just get caught up in what you suffered, but look at the wrong things that you brought to the table. Don't get me wrong. Cheating is never justified. Either you love somebody enough to seek counseling so that things can work out, or either you respect them enough to tell them that you feel as though you made a mistake in entering this relationship, or you tell them that you feel as though you should be single or whatever, you know what I mean? They should give you the respect to tell you that they feel a certain way and they want to leave. But to string somebody along, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. But on some real stuff, I've been through some things, and personally, if anybody that watching this video really needs somebody to talk to, feel free to email me at holywarrioryancy@yahoo.com or Yancy, YNCY business @yahoo.com. And got something that you want to get off your chest or something you think you need help with, holler at your boy. I've been there. God got me through it, and God will get you through it. But I'm going to end it there. This is Holy Warrior Yancy. And this is Holy Warrior Yancey Productions. Take care and God bless.